Good Gab, sponsored by Skillskin, a nonprofit organization empowering individuals with disabilities through employment. It's another week, Good Gabbers. Wow, thank you for the support. We are closing in. It's one more episode closer to 1 year. I'm just so happy you all supported us. Keep interacting. Find us on the social. Give us some likes. Subscribe. Help us out. Keep growing this. Share this with your friends. I know you like it. Others will too. And today, I'm telling you, we got one to share. This is Rod Price, COO of Navigate and the incoming president of Rotary Club 21. Rod, welcome to Good Gab.
Hey, man. Happy to be here. Congratulations on almost 1 year.
We're
That's
almost
right. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's been just a whole lot of fun. I can't believe it's gone by so fast, and we've met so many great people, and including yourself. So thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for including me in the great people category. But yeah, I'm a fan. You know that.
Yeah.
I love you, and I love the show. So yeah, this is great.
Well, thank you. So Rod, tell us a little bit about Navigate and kind of what you've been up to.
Sure. Navigate Family Therapy is we're what's considered legally a management services organization in the state of Washington. We have therapists outside the state of Washington as well. What we do is we don't do the therapy. We actually do all of the end-to-end business services, business support services, and administrative functions for private practice therapists, mental health therapists. So private practice therapists on their own, doing their own thing. They really got into it to do one thing, and that's provide help to others.
Yeah, you let them be
therapy.
clinicians.
We let them be clinicians. We take care of all the rest. Our founder, got to give her a plug because she's just a genius. Heather Sund is a longtime practicing therapist. Started her own company during the pandemic when things changed. She changed her business model and just said, I don't want to do all of this administrative stuff, all of this billing myself. Why would other therapists want to do this? And that's what she found with other therapists is that they don't want to do that. They don't want to operate the business itself. Some do, which is great. But
many don't. Like you
many
said,
don't.
Clinicians want to be clinicians,
not
business people.
Yeah, and what she found is that for about every hour a therapist does in therapy, that's therapy plus their notes, things like that, there's about another 2 hours of administrative work
2
to
hours?
do. Yeah, so invoicing, billing, insurance, follow-up, just setting up clients.
Those numbers don't add
clients.
up, right? Because the need is so high right now for clinicians doing, with patients. Like we got to free them up.
Yeah, that's, and our mission is to actually increase access to mental health, good quality mental health by freeing up that time for clinicians to see more clients if they want to. But they also get to have a home life. And that's really important. We're all about that. We've got one of our clinicians. They're our business partners. They don't work for us. We work for them. They are the client. They are the customer. We're the contractor. But one of them just took off on sabbatical, and we're supporting her on her sabbatical while she's doing that. We're going to take care of her clients, while she's gone, other therapists, through our client care team. We're going to make sure it's taken care of. We want her to spend the next 2 months not thinking about work if she can possibly help it.
So is this a transformative business model, or is this kind of supportive services, has it been done in other places?
It's being done in a lot of different ways. They're very large companies, what I call our competitors out there that are national competitors.
Well, this is born in Spokane.
Born in Seattle, actually.
Okay.
Edmonds, Washington.
All right.
Yeah.
I know Edmonds.
Yeah.
I used to work for a medical supply company.
There you go. I love Edmonds,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
That's
nice.
if I had to live on the west side, I would definitely live in Edmonds.
Great restaurants, that marina.
Yeah, you can walk everywhere. Everybody's friendly.
Yeah. I used to race sail
Oh, really?
boats every Wednesday night out of that marina.
Wow.
And those are great memories.
Well, hence the name Navigate, right? It started with this very nautical theme, but it's really but
now we're officing out of here too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when I took over in my role, it was a remote role. I work from home for the most part. When I'm on the computer or in my office, it's from my home office. But the majority of our therapists work from home as well. So they
Sure.
can do telehealth, teletherapy, and also in office. We have office locations as well. So that it allows, because we have clients that they want or demand in-person care, or they need in-person care. A lot of youth, a lot of children require an in-office environment. So we help them, by providing an environment for them to have in-office care as well. So.
Well, it's incredible. It's one of the biggest needs in our community is accessing mental health. And if you can, your services help free up these clinicians to provide those hours. I mean, I don't know any other better help than that.
Yeah, I think that when you say transformational, I think, I think about the world of therapy, the whole business of therapy and the world of therapy is being transformed as we speak right now. And by that, I mean, we talked about this before we started this, which is the Mental Health in America report that came out for 2023 shows that there's, for every one single licensed therapist in the United States, there are about 350 people searching for and looking for requesting help. And so,
it's an impossible ratio.
It's an impossible ratio. So how are we going to do that? And number one is by freeing up therapists to have more time to take care of more clients, by being better and using technology and with the human touch to better match clients and faster match clients with the right clinicians who can help them. AI is going to be it's already a big part of that. It's going to be a much bigger part of that matching. It's still going to require the human touch. But, artificial intelligence is helping us already make some of those determinations. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
the other part is going to be mental health first aid, and we'll get into that a little bit whenever you want. But I mean, it's really getting that next level of training out there to just the general public on how can they do better and help other people.
We start doing that just level. In our own organization at Skillskin is kind of running mental health first aid classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear more about that.
The first one that we started, it came from Frontier Behavioral Health, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And about 5 years ago, they came out and we talked with us and built things up. And then COVID came. We're like, hey, we know about this. Let's do some more of this. And it's been a great investment in our employees. And it's what we believe will help people.
Absolutely. Yeah, no pun intended, but Frontier is sort of the pioneer of behavioral health in Spokane, in this area, and I've been here a long time doing a lot of great things. We need more of that. We need more mental health first aid. We need more people just trained in some. I mean, we're talking. Well, you went through it. It's very basic training,
but powerful training.
Yeah, absolutely, and can make a difference. Make a difference.
So speaking of making a difference, so Rod, like you were talking about, before our show, that this is really your calling right now, and you've been in service to a lot of organizations, a lot of things. Like, tell us more about that. Like, what makes you want to be a part of this world?
Wow, yeah, I feel like I landed right where I'm supposed to be, and for a lot of different reasons. I've dealt with trauma as a child. Grew up very poor. When I was 15, my mom died by suicide. She was mentally ill. It was back in the 70s, so there wasn't a lot of the same help and services that we have today.
This is the gut it out.
Yeah,
be a man. Yeah, that kind of service.
Yeah, it really was. But I was surrounded by people immediately when that happened. Surrounded by family and community members. It's sort of my Rotary story too. Is that all through my life, at these very critical, important times in my life, people came into it for one reason or the other, intentionally. They intentionally entered into my life to make sure. I mean, I could have gone either way. I was a pretty good kid, but I could have gone either way, right?
You could have broke bad.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah, absolutely. But these people wouldn't let me go, and they were with me. And then,
what a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. So, mental health has impacted me all my life, and so I just feel like, again, I've been sort of thrust into these either times or these events in my life, and then did a stint in the Marine Corps. That was fun. That was a blast, an adventure. Got married. Been married for almost 37 years to the same very patient, very wonderful sainthood woman.
I believe that. Knowing you, naturally.
Yeah, because I still act like a 13-year-old most days. So, but after that, I got into business and yeah, I moved around a little bit, but there's been some things that have been very, I would say, permanent in my life, and that's my desire, the calling, as you put it, my calling to help others. So as a young, newly married guy we lived in Boise for about 10 years. I was working with youth and just felt called to work with youth. And, one young man, comes to mind that was just, I really focused on him. Again, suicidal young man, worked through it, and it just had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying to be a friend, just trying to be a good person. And, later on, getting involved in scouting, I was a scout leader. I had 3 boys, 3 sons, right?
Okay.
So I go to my very first scout meeting, and they find out I've got 3 sons. They're like, "Oh, you're going to be here for a very long time." So, 22 years later, my last son got his eagle, and I was like, "Okay, I'm ready to retire."
That's awesome to be in service in that way too.
Yeah.
And then Rotary.
Yeah.
Did you find Rotary or did it find you?
My history of the Rotary actually goes back to my wife's family. Her stepdad, when he retired, was looking for something. This is a typical Rotary story. Somebody retires and they're bored. They're looking for something to do. They want meaning. They want purpose. He got into Rotary a long time ago. And that's how I was introduced to it. And I was introduced to it in the Interact side, which is the high school version of Rotary. So I was working with him and his group, his Interact group, from time to time. So that was my introduction to Rotary. Bob is my father-in-law's name. Became district governor for this district for Rotary. So it's sort of like Rotary royalty. So I'm part of I'm the Andrew of the royal family, I think. But it was sort of nebulous to me. I didn't really quite understand it. So then I'll cut to the chase. When my youngest son was 15 and a half, that's his best friend committed suicide. And it was a rough time. And there was this group of kids at Shadle Park it was just a rough time. They had several suicides and a lot of stuff going on. And so I'd made the determination that I was going to do something about it. I didn't know what it was. I was going to do something about it, but I was leaving scouting ready to do that. So we started this Interact Club. I wanted to build this program where we'd have service, leadership, and adventure, right? They'd understand the Rotary version of service above self. Serve others before we serve ourselves. They would learn, practice, and do leadership in their community. They would learn leadership. I mean, true leadership training and techniques. I was a leadership trainer, so I could teach them some basic things.
You're the right person for this.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But I learned more than they did probably. But then,
how often does that happen?
Right?
A lot.
Yeah, especially from youth. And so, but the payoff was the adventure. We'd go do some really cool stuff, river rafting, backpacking, mountaineering, climbing, whatever it was. We'd go do some just cool stuff. That was the payoff for doing all these other things. So I had this model. I wanted to do it. I approached Rotary Club 21 through an intermediary, and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about this. It's sort of this hybrid thing of scouting and Interact.
What do you think?
What do you think?" They said, "Rotary and scouting have this long history together. We'll sponsor you. We'd love to do that, but you got to join the club." And I went, "Well, I don't know if I want to join the club, but I went, okay, I'll do that, right? It was important enough to me, because it was Club 21. That's a big deal, all right? So, it's sort of,
it's
to
a
me,
storied history here in Spokane.
21st club in the world. That's why it's Club 21. So it goes way back. Yeah, that's how old that club is, right? And so very prestigious to me. And okay, fine, I'll join. And that was like over 7 years ago, I think it was. And that's how I got introduced to Rotary Club 21. Absolutely fell in love with the people and the mission and what we're doing. And our youth program has been, was going really strong, and turned it over to a good friend of mine who helped me charter the club. And Jim took it to a whole new level.
This is ongoing then.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing
thing. Lasting power.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So they
good job, Rod.
They all aged out, right? So we had this weird thing of where typically they age out like age 18. They're gone. We had college aged young people that continued in the program that wanted to do more. So they became Rotaractors too. International Rotary said they can't be interactors anymore. They're too old. They have to do something else. So they became Rotaractors. So they're still leading in their community.
Peer support.
Absolutely. So now they're going to be future Rotarians. That's what's really cool. So yeah. So now I just thought I was
going to. So you got to join. You just thought you were going to be a part of it, be of service.
Yeah.
And now you're about to be president.
Yeah, I'm about to take on the role as president. That's been in the works for quite a while because, what you don't realize is now I know is that you sort of identify these people and say, yeah, they might be a good leader in the club. Let's sort of work on them a little bit and see how they do. I got onto the board and then while I was on the board, I got tapped on the shoulder to see if I'd like to be nominated for, the executive role, vice president. And they have this, we have this great succession planning program. So once somebody's identified and agrees to it and the club votes on it, they're on the board, they're in this executive training role. So I've had some great leadership examples before me that I've been able to work with and train under and learn, just learn from. And they've set the bar kind of high. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh man, yeah.
You'll stand on the bar. I know it.
Yeah,
and we've had a lot of guests, talk about their experience in Rotary, and maybe you can help us peel back the veil, for our listeners that don't exactly know what Rotary is, and all the good stuff that's going on there.
You hit me at a great time because I just got back from the International Convention in Melbourne, Australia, and I thought I knew what Rotary was, right? 6-7 years into it. I really thought I knew what Rotary was until I went to the International Convention. And I remember texting my father-in-law going, oh, now I get it. I really didn't get it like I get it now. And so let me tell you, Rotary was started a long time ago, about 115 years ago by a guy named Paul Harris in Illinois. And it was
Just founded in America?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an American thing. And now it's worldwide, right? So it was started as a service and fellowship club. It's still that. And it's expanded worldwide. Literally at the international conference, I was meeting people from countries I'd never heard of.
Cool.
Where is that, right? And so they tell me a little bit about it. And when you go to these international conferences, you realize these people bleed Rotary blue. They do, because you have somebody from some small village or town in South Africa who's so excited about Rotary because of what Rotary did for them or their family or their village or their town in their country. They are now Rotarians supporting that and growing that. And so we're an international service organization where our mission is to do good for others on behalf of others. It's an all-volunteer organization. I mean, Club 21, we do have a paid staff member. We pay for that through our dues. We don't pay for that through money we get from the public. We all invest in that as individual members. But it's really an all-volunteer organization. As a matter of fact, they receive the highest rating you can get from the nonprofit rating agencies, organizations out there, because I think it's 98 or 99% of all funding donated goes right back into the world. Yeah. So things like, awesome. So, we're doing things like clean water projects all around the world. We're education, reading, scholarships. I mean, it's just women's health. We just had the first one female president in the history of Rotary just completed her first year, her year as international president. Jennifer Jones, phenomenal person. She's going to be, I don't know, queen of the world, I guess, is what she'll be. I mean, she's on that pathway. She's so smart, so engaged in helping others, and so a lot of good initiatives kicked off just this last year too. So a big one, of course, is mental health. One of the other things I wanted to talk about with Rotary as well. So I don't know. Well, did I give you enough of an overview of Rotary?
Sure did. And so that's what's happening here. Yes, and thank you. So here locally, at Club 21, you said mental health is going to be a focus of this next year.
Yeah.
And your presidency.
Let me set that up a little bit. So Rotary locally. So let's just go we have several clubs locally, Rotary clubs, and like all the other clubs, Club 21, we do service projects all over the area. We also help fund and do projects globally too through international service committees. So we, the club locally, we fund about 200 through our giving from our Rotary Community Service Campaign. So that's our internal donors plus some endowment we have set. We fund about $200,000 locally in projects.
That's significant. Wow.
And cool things, scholarships for students. And we're talking not just college scholarships, but vocational scholarships for a lot of cool kids with great stories. I
know. I heard you that round of funding this year happened, and our CFO Nicole Lepore, who's a Rotarian, she was telling me how impactful that was for her to be a part of that process. Yeah, and what a shining light some of these young people are.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That's my favorite meeting is the Vocational Service Awards, because you hear these heartbreaking, heart-wrenching stories, but then you hear how they've risen up out of that, and whether it's in spite of or because of, they're this stronger person at age 16, 18 than a lot of adults are all their lives, and they've just found their way through it, and they're doing good things just in spite of what's happened to them or happening to them. And so yeah, very inspiring. Yeah, and that's just one thing. I mean, disabilities, we have so many committees, right? We have a committee that just supports veterans services. And so we're not exclusive, right? Our club, this is happening all over the United States, it's happening all over the world. But one of the things that we're focusing on internationally, so our new international incoming president, so same time frame as me, international president is Gordon McAnally. He's from Scotland, and he gets up there and talks. I love to hear him talk. Just do his.
Why is that accent just so alluring?
It's so cool. Yeah,
you're cool.
I think
I don't know you. You're cool.
I think it's because of Shrek.
Right?
Michael Myers.
Exactly, Mike. You took us all. You got our hearts. I digress.
Yeah, that's okay. So Gordon got up at I went to President-elect training actually a few months ago, and that's a big thing. You have about 2,000 President-elects just from one zone. That's not worldwide. That's just from one zone in this weekend training. Really good training. But Gordon gets up there and does this sort of keynote talk, and he tells a story about his brother dying by suicide, but Gordon he was singing my song, speaking my love language, which is breaking down the stigma of mental health, just breaking it down, getting rid of it, and getting everybody talking about it. And if we get more people talking about it openly, and we make it safe for people to talk about that, we're going to help others just by doing that. So he wanted to make his focus this year mental health throughout the world. So
it hence gets to be your focus too.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You got a good thing going. The right timing, right place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your world's magic, isn't it?
Yeah. Rod? What my father-in-law calls it, pixie dust. Somebody sprinkles a little pixie dust on things and just makes it happen. So I want that to be my focus this year. And the really cool thing is what I learned at the international conference is that Rotary International, they have what they call these Rotary Action Groups. And Rotary Action Groups are groups of Rotarians from around the world coming together virtually or physically to focus on one area. So whether it's food insecurity, starvation, it's water quality, whatever it is, there's so much. But there was this group that started this Rotary Action Group for mental health. And I thought I was going to have to, reinvent the wheel in terms of mental health first aid training, intervention, things like that. I go to this breakout. They do training at these international conferences. I go to this training session, this breakout session. I find out that they've already got this thing built and developed.
So you can hit the ground running.
They've got two main focuses and curriculums that they've developed, and I was just overwhelmed by it. I was so energized by the fact that they've got this one program. So the curriculum was written with the help of Boston Children's Hospital. So it's the real thing. It's the real deal. And it's been tested and vetted. So at the youth level, I love this. It's all about intervention. So instead of having a bunch of old white guys go into the school and teach mental health first aid to a bunch of high schoolers, it's meant for teaching high schoolers, a train the trainer program for high schoolers, so they learn how to teach it to other high schoolers. So they created this curriculum, they tested it out, they had the high schoolers sort of practice on youth groups around this city to kind of get their, to get their chops going, right?
Sure.
Then they went into one high school, and I think it had, I forget, it was either 2,000 or like 6,000 kids in this high school, and they taught the program there, and every high schooler in that high schooler completed the program. So
how are we going to translate that locally?
So my goal is, I'm working with one of our Rotarians right now to, I reached out to her, I think during the conference or right after, said, I got to talk with you about this. And she's the perfect person because she's a medical practitioner. She's very involved and understands that, to see if she would help lead this program, if not just for the club, but also for the district. And so
are you looking for partnerships with other organizations?
Yeah, we'd love. I think this one absolutely requires partnerships with other organizations, with the schools. We want to partner with Spokane schools. I haven't even talked with them yet. So hey, look out, Spokane schools, right?
Hey, yeah. Some of them watch this podcast. So all right. Yeah, look up Rod.
There's funding from International Rotary to help support it. I mean, it's a big deal. So there's that. So we definitely want to partner with other organizations, other schools to get this. It can't happen if we just contain it with our own little silo.
You know what I think about right now? We had Deborah Robb on our program.
Yeah.
And she's executive director of communities and schools.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Perfect.
Might be an amazing connection. We're happy to make that connection.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Let's do it. Let's hook that up. I would absolutely love that, because it's not just a Rotary thing. It just happens to be this program that was developed by Rotary. But the other part of it is, now here's the other cool part, is a curriculum that was developed for medical practitioners. So if you think about it, most of us think that, a pediatrician is well trained in mental health assessment. Well, that's not their focus. They're not trained in education. Some are, right? Some go get the education, but by and large, majority, they're just trying to take care of the medical side, the physical or physiology of the person they're taking care of. But they don't know what to do necessarily in terms of assessment of somebody who may be demonstrating some mental health, or even articulates it to them that they're struggling. And so this curriculum, if a doctor joins this program, it's really cheap. It's a couple $100 to pay for the curriculum, but they get trained on doing assessments. So they learn how to actually do mental health assessments of their patients, so they can kind of see where they're at. Are they kind of a first level where they just need some counseling? Sure. They can start to refer them out to where they've got to walk them down to a facility or to a practitioner to keep them safe. And the kicker is, if they're part of this program, they have a toll-free number that they can call where they can do a consult with a psychologist, so with a licensed psychologist, to help them do an assessment and figure some things out. It's a great program.
Partnership.
So
I believe in your presidency, and I just can't wait to learn more. All right.
I gotta tell you my theme. Hold on, I gotta tell you my theme real fast. So every president has their shtick or their theme. Last year Kyle wanted to have an F kind of year. It was great. It was awesome. I gotta say this.
You're gonna let us know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm breaking it here.
Yes,
the only people that know are my mentors. But yeah, I have to say that, being a Rotary Club during the pandemic was difficult, and like everybody else. But we immediately went into, from a place where we were meeting physically every Thursday. We get to see each other, hug, shake hands, things like that, to immediately we're virtual, right? We're on camera. Well, we had Gary Stokes, right? We had the man, Gary Stokes, as our president, the perfect guy to carry us through that isolation. Seriously. I mean, we had the right people in the right places to do this. So as we're coming out of the pandemic and we're sort of getting to this hybrid thing, and we're coming out of this sad, lonely, serious time, we had Kyle as our president, who's, really, used a lot of humor to
Coaxing people back.
to get us back together. And then Amy just finished her. I wish I didn't have to go behind Amy as president. That's really going to be tough. But Amy really, I told him the other day, I said, Amy got us ready for game day. And that was her thing. It was like game day. That's Rotary game day. So it was just this perfect timing. So now we're here in this spot. I've had such great people to get us here.
So reveal your.
My theme.
You can't bury the lead.
So my theme is built on, if you think about Rotary, whether it's the individual level, the club level, the district level, or just the big international level, we're out there doing acts of kindness every day. But they're not random acts of kindness. Everything is intentional. Everything is with purpose and intention to help others. So my theme this year is intentional acts of kindness. And we're going to really be highlighting, within the club, we're going to be highlighting individuals and committees and things that are happening that really are intentional acts of kindness that we do every day as our club. But we're also going to be embarking on this new intentional act of kindness. And I believe that it's kindness that opens the door for us to hear others, to see others, and make them feel safe. Because it's called co-regulation in the mental health world. So if you are struggling with something, but I'm sitting with you, Steve, and I'm looking at you, I'm listening to you, I'm reflecting, I'm present, and you feel safe, most times you're going to be able to navigate, no pun intended, you'll be able to navigate those struggles, that tough time on your own and through your own means. Obviously if it's not a serious mental health issue, but we're at least going to get you to a place where you feel like you can now get the help you need or move to the next phase of your health. So that's what this is about.
Love it, Rod.
Thanks,
and
man.
I know, listeners, intentional acts or kindness. This can be your theme too. You can help change the world.
You heard it right here.
Yes, you did. Okay, I know we're running out of time, but before I let you go, I gotta know, I've been a guest at Rotary a number of times.
Yeah.
And where did the singing come from?
Oh man, that has just this long history. They've been doing that since they used to way back. I think it started with the national anthem. They would start with the national anthem, and then every club takes on its own character, right?
It's got some little flavor.
Absolutely.
Own book of songs.
Yeah, there is actually a Rotary book of songs out there, and so some clubs, they do all different kinds of things, and this, so it just goes back into goes back to, I think, the original traditions of Rotary to sing, and that's one of those things where as an organization, internationally, nationally, and locally, we want to continue to evolve in so many ways.
Well, I love it. I got to tell you, it's my favorite part. You have some amazing speakers, but when I'm in a guest, I'm like, I'm going to sing my heart out. And when I hear the people trying, even if they're, maybe they're not the best singer, but I know they're trying, I want to be friends with them.
We have to warn people, though. Yeah. We do have to warn guests to say, hey, there's going to be some singing here. So,
it's amazing. Yeah. My country, 'tis of thee. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Rod Price, thanks for joining us today. It has been a real pleasure.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. I love it. Yeah.